Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, B Farm. Thinking right out here in my lab in the wee hours of the morning, in the book, about to wrap it up, doing what I do for you. I got two good lessons. We're going to do the meditation practice of the temple of Aset, and I'm going to teach you about the cry of Aset. This is you trying to get to God. Perfect lessons. Good stuff. Let's go. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I gave you life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get it together. So I ask the question: do you know you? You will when I'm through. If you pay attention, I got you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is foolish. Excuse me. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. But you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know, right? Nasty comments. No, excuse me. Those who know but believe they know, they're dangerous. Avoid them. I do. Got to deal with them, but try to avoid them best you can. A person who knows and knows not that they know, especially their sleep, you can wake them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to my God be true. Let's get into this meditation practices because these are the things that will get you where you need to be if you practice it like me. Meditation practices of the temple of Aset. It is said in the ancient Egyptian temples of Aset, they had a special form of meditation. In the East, they knew that God was in you. So the only way you can get to God was go inside you, which is what meditation does. They was big on meditation. Western civilization, not so much. They catching on now, but meditation wasn't big here. Real big there. Why? They different people. They know God. They ain't walking around looking for God and acting all crazy. They have a full understanding of God. That's why they conduct themselves in a whole different manner. But okay. But it was alluded to in the section I taught you about in the book entitled Who is the First Chief Being in the Light of Kemetic Yoga Philosophy. This whole book about that, okay? Talking about God. But when Aset, remember the story about Aset, how she got Ra's real name? She wanted to know everything there was to know, and she was persistent. And when Aset finally discovered the true name of Ra, she was now actually what? Practicing what we call the one-pointed meditation of Ra. That means you think about one thing, God, Ra. That's it. Nothing else matters. Focus on God. That's one pointed meditation technique that they used in ancient times. And that is being able, understanding that what? All things are created by Ra and do not have a separate existence outside of Ra. She turned all of her thoughts to Ra. In this manner, now she had focused her mind on one object. Ra, feel me? See where we're going with this? No matter where she turned, and since all objects in this physical world, through seeming to be, though seeming to abide in separate or be separate, are in fact all just manifestations of the divine, aka Ra. If this soul thought were to occupy the kind of your mind of your spirit or spiritual aspect, right? Think if you can put this concept to use, and what happened? You now would have a transcendental experience, aka in Christianity it's called a mystical experience of what? Spiritual awakening. I'm trying to tell you, when you practice what I'm teaching, it will happen for you. It got no other control. It's automatic. Righteous and virtuous living sets out the Kundalini serpent, rises the serpent from the back, from the spine, and understanding you have total control over that. When you, the spiritual aspirant, wakes up and you apply you wake up and you become fully realizes what? That there is really nothing in the world that is not divine or from the divine, aka God. We're all one. Animals and all, trees, everything. Okay? So that whenever your mind turns, no matter what object that's in your mind, there is an understanding that God is there all the time and in all objects. So therefore, your mind never leaves the awareness of divine. That explains my concept of God consciousness. I'm conscious of God all the time. I live in a meditative state of mind, keeping God on my mind. This is what they're telling you. What Aset did and what she got from it was this. And the divine presence that's where? In you. Religion takes God out of you. Spirituality teaches you to know God is in you. All that looking for God up in the pie in the sky, Mason looking for the Solomon's temple, everywhere except where? Within themselves. That's the mystery. Where is it? Where's God? In you. Everybody knows that. I think so. Everybody I know knows that. But this is just having wisdom of meditation. Again, the wisdom you get from meditation is all internal. It's all you and God communicating. My pastor say he downloads the information from God. I understand that. Another phrase is saying meditation. Okay. But if it is blossoming of the previous work done by you, the aspirant, your job was to listen, reflect upon the teachings, and meditate on them and better yourself. The end and the aim of all these toils, all this work, and your labors is to attain the attainment of self-knowledge. Excuse me, nope, this ain't something. This is obtain the knowledge of the first and chief being. Who could that be? Yeah, God. For the Egyptian, it was Ra. Okay? Who alone, again, is the object of the understanding of one's mind. This is the key to God. This is the way to God. That's the been telling y'all for the longest. Let me wrap this up. No, I'm still early, but I'm ready to get to the next lesson. But I'm gonna wrap this lesson up here. The meditation importance and practice of it, and why they used it in the temple of Aset. The process of listening, hearing, understanding, comprehending, leads to the teaching, leads to what? Reflecting upon them. And when you do that, it leads your mind to what they call the one-pointed movement, which breaks the veil of ignorance. You have to raise your consciousness to break the veil of ignorance. Why? You think you know everything. You think you know everything, but you ain't willing to learn nothing. That's why listening. Do a lot of that. In the old day, the way to lift the veil of ignorance is reveals what? When doing this, you reveal the goddess in her what? Naked form. If you're ignorant, you're never going to see Aset. Can't see it with mortal eyes. You got to have that ignorance out the way so you can see. The blindness is ignorance. Move the blind. Oh, there you go. She's in her glory, the splendor, naked. Okay, everybody like a naked woman. Okay, philosophical, but it's all mythological and metaphorical. But the transcendental and the absolute reality that's behind the relative manifestations of the infinite and the eternity as the world of time and space. We are here in time and space. Our spirits go forever. So when the spirit leaves the body, it's either going to go find a body or going home to eternity. The goal is to have your spirit know who it is, put your head on your spirit and take it home and be you for the rest of eternity. Another way to put it is what? The process of listening to the teachings, reflecting upon them, that leads the mind to, again, the one-pointed movement, which poisons one's ignorance. There you go. The poison pill for the ignorance is knowledge. You want to kill ego? Enlighten yourself. do better, get good, and it'll have to acquiesce, okay? And one's ignorant understanding, you have to be poisoned by knowledge and of the world, of one's own true being. By doing this, you're now revealing the true name of one's innermost essence, which is God. This is Ra's true name. Watch this. Which cannot be uttered by speech, but it can only be known by, you ready for this? But discovering it and experiencing it for one within yourself, for yourself, where that be? In one's own heart. Heart, mind, coherent. When they become one, you just found God. You just had the intercourse with God. It's a spiritual orgasm, trust me. I got that coming for you too. That's a good one. All right, but now let's talk about the cry of Aset. What that mean? When I get done, you should have a full understanding of the concept of the cry of Aset. If you're that good and that close to God, you got the power to call him on him, and he'll stop what he's doing to give you attention. Let's talk about it. It's a good idea. In the Osiris resurrection story, it was told that Aset cried out when her son Harut died from the scorpion sting, that this cry was heard by Ra. That's a loud cry. Again, wait a minute. The question is, if God was in heaven, he had distance, she would have to make a loud cry to hear, right? Yeah. But no, mythologically, metaphorically, she cried within inside herself. She had to go outside herself to get to God, remember? Ding, 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 ding. I like that one. All right, watch this. But she cried so loud that the cry was heard by Ra. And that would happen. All creation stopped. She stopped the world, so to speak, metaphorically. Why? She got Ra's attention, and he had to give her his undivided. So the world had to go to her, and he had to tend to her. This is you. You are set. Watch this. If you get that good and get that close to Ra, and what was the nature of this cry when she cried out? Is when a spiritual aspirant, when you are so enthralled in God, devoted to God, doing everything you do. So when you cry out to God with all of your heart and your mind and your body, that means in sincerity, in the entire world, as if it comes to an end. Why? Because it's between you and God. Everything else is off the table. And God will give you that time. That's what they're trying to you, okay? He got everything under control. So him tending to you, okay, so much. You think the world stopped. The world's still going to just ain't involving you. You and God are even one-on-one. You get the concept? So when your awareness of the world fades, when there is complete attention on the divine alone, and this is how you stop the world, is S in effect. It allows what? A person, you, to fully discover the teachings that you've learned, which leads to what they call resurrection. You can bring something back to life, and immortality, which the God Tahuti, which is God's mind, he brings directly from Ra. He wrote the Medjugorje. He was the master of writing. That was God's right-hand man. No, God's mind. He was the mind of God. Okay, he got his own title. Okay, he's thought to the Greeks and Mercury to the Romans. But he's the concept of getting the message from God. He's God's messenger. He's God's mind. And thus, now the task of you, the aspirant, the spiritual aspirant, is to now develop such your own devotion to God and to understanding of the divine, as well as righteousness in life by virtuous living, in order to gain the power to be able to call upon the divine at what? Any time, in order to experience the bliss of immortality and the power to succeed in your spiritual life. Your spiritual journey is you becoming spiritually awakened. You become an enlightened being, walking the earth with knowledge of God, knowing who you are, living and jiving and digging the skin you're in until you're called home. And when he can tell you, great job, my good and faithful servant. Why? If you served him in flesh, he'll serve you in spirit. That's why. That's been the oldest story ever known by God. Just somebody flipped the script and gave y'all this, all this other nonsense. Moving on. No disrespect. Only those who have obtained, this is the best part right here, this is some teaching right here. You got to put this into effect for yourself. Only those who have attained purity of heart can call upon God. A sinner can't call God. And if he did, God ain't hearing. Okay, the cry ain't gonna be loud enough. Why? Because it ain't sincere enough. It ain't from the heart. BS's can't BS God. The divine in this manner, this is because only those who have what? Eradicated the ego-satanian negative traits, qualities in their character such as anger, hatred, greed, hypocrisy, jealousy, self-importance, selflessness, pleasure-seeking, etc. These are all negative qualities that you can't have because God don't allow that. And my pastor said, God don't do mess. He don't bless mess. If you ain't prepared as a Mason, you ain't in position to receive what you need to get, you won't get it. Same thing with the blessing. You can block your own blessing and get out of position. Why? By doing something stupid. Simple. Okay? Your attitude and your personality should change. Why? That's what the purpose of Makadu, purifying the heart, doing right, thinking right, acting right. These are things that God recognizes and blesses. That's why people do it. You ask a person, why are you such a good person? Why you do such a good thing? I'll get blessed for that. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. But those who doing their thing, they ain't getting blessed. They get lucky every now and then. They hit a lick every now and then. But that ain't a blessing. I don't want to be lucky. I want to be good. Told more man, and I don't want to cheat. Again, if you're dealing with him, you're going to be a straight shooter. That's what Mayat teaches you. Only straight shooters get to God. Okay? The bend and break, no, that don't get it. Straight shot. Okay? That's my girl, Neith. Bow and arrow. Don't miss the mark. Every time she put it back, when she let it go, it's going to hit its mark. And her enemy is ignorance. Okay? So, from the heart, you can now know the divine. Here and here, in its true essence. Why? Through your own experience. Through your own experience. That's how you know God for yourself. All y'all believers in God don't get it. Okay? This cry is not a loud, here you go, wailing or the sound of pain. No. No. Okay? It is not a verbalization or a mental thought. It is a much deeper process which can only be accomplished by a true, pure-hearted person. People can be dumb as a bag of rocks. But guess what? If they got a good heart, they'll be accepted. And that's the only thing that's going to get them through. Ignorant people it's not pure heart. Ego people scream it. An ignorant person is not pure of heart. Okay? An ignorant person could be pure heart. They just don't know no better. So they can learn. You can help them. But a person who ain't pure heart, you got to work them. They got to work themselves. What? Change their heart. Because that's where it starts, in the action. Everything starts here. This special cry, watch this, here we go, is something that only occurs at a much deeper level than the normal mind and the senses can fathom. Why? Because it is now intuitional communion with God. It's right here. It's in here. It's in here. It's in you. Once you realize that, that's the heart-mind coherence connection that you have to make. That's my word, okay? Excuse me, my man Braden stole it, but he don't use it the way I do. So I still say it's still mine. Heart-mind coherence. When this and this become one, spirit and matter come together, you got a human being, you got an enlightened being. Now you can ascend back to where you come from, the divine, heaven, whatever you want to call it. But that's the concept. It's only a concept. You got to manifest it for yourself. The same thing with the Bible. If you don't follow the Bible, you won't get what's due you. So I went to church yesterday, got my spiritual junction of love. When you want to be around people who just make you feel good. And we were light in the presence of the people, but the spirit, I told my pastor, the spirit was still there. I felt just as good being in the house. I love being around my church people. Yeah, but I'm not religious. It's a spiritual thing with me, okay? When they do their little communion, I just go through the motions. I didn't exit. It wasn't enough people to me to dip, so I had to stand in. I gotta stop that. But I'm not going to partake in communion. That's not my thing. I got it right for that. So I ain't got to tell anybody, I ain't doing that. I ain't disturb the harmony of the church. I ain't got time for that. But watch this. That special cry, it comes from the end. And watch this. It's intuitional. That means it's a natural. We call it the Akashic Records. That's the area where everything you need to know. That's inside you. I said helps you get there. That's what we try to teach. Her job is to get you to have use your intuitional wisdom and knowledge from within oneself by putting in the work and understand intuition. What's this? The following diagram I'm about to show you. First of all, communion with God means you meditate. Everybody knows that. We all know that. You see guys sitting in those positions, GPU. Yeah, they meditating. Not sleeping, meditating. Okay. But now I got a little breakdown here. The following diagram I'm about to show to you may be used for a better understanding of what we call intuition and its relation to the mind and of the divine. I'll walk you through this. Starting from the bottom. Physical body, astral body, intellect. By learning and studying and putting it to use, you reach your intuitional level, and that's how you get to God. That's the concept. And that's what Aset teaches you and shows you. Watch this. Most people live their life on the bottom level, okay, with their physical body, their mind, and their senses, okay? But they just serving the physical and they pleasing the body. And the mind is just going through the motions, okay? They do not progress. Just going through the motions. You just an ordinary Joe. I told my son, if you want to get C's in school, you're going to be average Joe. You could be one of the maintenance people, the janitors. Why? Because your skill level ain't that high, obviously, if you only got C-level education or knowledge. So, but they do not progress beyond a certain level. They top out. In my elevator go to the penthouse of knowledge. And yeah, I'm up there. So if your knowledge can't get you to the penthouse, you can't hang out with me. Why? I'm going to exceed your level of what? Like the blackbird jump on the eagle's back. The eagle don't fight. The eagle don't do nothing. He just what? Ascend. He get to elevated where the altitude is so high, the blackbird can't hang out, so he just leave. That's how you deal with people ignorant. You just ascend. You just get intellectual. I get philosophical. Why? I ain't got time for them, so I just raise above them and they leave me alone. That's why. I'm getting better at that too. Another life lesson. All right. But they don't progress beyond this level. And they're not able to discover their own intellectual capacity. That's why they're not pushing themselves. If you don't push yourself, how are you going to reach that level? So, but many of those who do are able to discover, right, thinkers, they're intellectual, right there. You got to be intellectual to know God. It's a knowledge thing. It ain't what nope. Intellectual capacity. And you got to get caught up in it. And what? They get caught up in their egoism. It causes them to now believe, here we go, that what? They have achieved the heights of evolution. The ego will fake you out. The devil plays mind games. He the best at it. He the best. He tell you, man, you think you serving God? You serving me, dummy. I got you all over. I can cover you dummies any way I want. And y'all swear y'all serving God. Sonic order, religious concept. All y'all are serving the devil. They tell you, the demigod. He told you that in Genesis, in the damn first New Testament, Old Testament. The egotistical God. Yahweh. Same God y'all serve. Okay? We know him. Come on. Y'all little stuff, Christians, 2,000 years. That's it. I got 10,000 year information. You don't want to hear that because it contradicts your little 2,000 years. I don't care. Moving on. So that's my issue with that. But they believe, again, if somebody believes something, leave them alone. I don't believe a damn thing. I'm telling you. I'm teaching you. I know. It's a difference. That's my point. And they believe that what? Intellectualism is the end all mental pursuits. Y'all degree holders. I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm Professor so-and-so. Nobody give a damn. Excuse me. For real? But respectfully, you got your title, you earned it. But don't sing around like, like you Dexter in Jamaica when the women come in for the vacation. Hey, I'm Dexter. I got what you want. That because you got a little knowledge. But what you don't have is knowledge of self. That makes me Dexter. Okay? Mine's bigger than yours. My intellect. All right. but your mental pursuits. And you think you get some degrees, you think you know better than that. And that's all there is to what? To know. Think you know everything. Y'all egotistic people. And they can be grasped by what? Intellectual capacity. But this, of course, is an erroneous concept. Just getting knowledge don't mean nothing. Studying the wrong stuff don't get you nowhere. Okay? But there is no possibility for the mind to encompass the divine. Why? To know creation in its true essence because of its ignorance. For that, it is necessary to go beyond one's ignorance thinking mind and to be able to expand one's consciousness in order to encompass all intellectually, to become one with the all. Right there. Knowing thyself, becoming one with God. Heart, mind, coherence. That's the name of the game. When you master that, you're good to go. You can do whatever you want. They say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Knowledge of God gives you the ability to do all things also. Knowing thyself, I can do all things. Why? I got knowledge of self. Do you? That's the difference. And I'm not relying on some God outside myself. Some fictitious character that y'all done made up, that they done fell in love with. If you tell a Christian Christ never exists, you got to fight them. That's a lie fighting the truth. Why? Because you were told a lie and you believed it. So now the truth coming on, truth ain't got legs to stand on. That's why. So y'all, I leave y'all alone. I can't message y'all like that. Why? Y'all hell bent on what you believe. I'm trying to say something I know, and we ain't on the same playing field. Therefore, only true God, or only the one God, can know what all. If you know God, see, we're going there. That's the idea, to get to be able to what? Know all about what? Yourself. Damn the world. They ain't gonna do you nothing at Judgment Day. Well, I know how deep the ocean is. I know how far the star. Get that nonsense out of here. What you know about yourself? How did you live? Did you treat people right? Did you serve the Lord? Did you do anything that earned you blessings? Some of us die and don't never be blessed. Why? You ain't living right. You don't get blessed just because you're here. No. Or because you claim to be something. No. Your actions, your deeds. Whoa, I got to get this out. I see the clock running. Sorry about that. Good person. Get back to the lesson. But you can know all when you know all. And since God encompasses all, but those who attain oneness with God can also what? Know all. That's the concept I just tried to tell you. But this is the goal for all right thinkers who practice wisdom of yoga. You want to get to God. That's the highest knowledge, is that God is what? The universe, and at the same time, the very essence of one's heart. With this knowledge and advanced spiritual practice and training, you, the aspirant, can now effortlessly, hear me? Because the daily practice, it becomes routine. So now you can effortlessly turn to God within yourself at any moment, and the divine will drop everything to listen to such an exalted personality as one who serves him in earnest. Sounds familiar? I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, God don't either. That's the point. So, as a human being evolves, grows spiritually from being a gross personality, ignorant, living at the level, beastly level, lower level, self level, egoism, and the satanic quality that go with it, it's a lot of that going on. But in able to develop your mental capacity as an individual, your mental capacity develops into intellect. And then your intellect, with work, practice, and training, develops into intuition. You see, we're going self-mastery, wrapping it up, taking it home. Here we go. And intuition is what opens the door to that spiritual realization. And your spiritual realization is the source of all true knowledge, aka self-knowledge. In fact, it is the absolute truth, complete, infinite, and eternal, while that which is known with the mind and senses, the physical body, is transient and very much incomplete, but the illusion that it is, to most ignorant people, it gets them in trouble. The absolute truth of self-knowledge is what will allow you to now be able to go beyond your ego and it never-ending desires. You put that to the side. That's not your problem. Worrying about this and the third, that's not your concern. Relative knowledge of the mind and the senses only leads a person to what? Limitations and egoism if it is not truly understood correctly, to be only a means to your higher discovery. Why? Scientists are in reality trying to discover God. How? Through sciences. Okay? However, if they see science as the end of knowledge, they will not discover God. Why? Because of the limitations of their ignorance of being human. Their science will never be perfect. Why? Because it will always be limited. Relax. Take it home. Intuitional knowledge is acquired by learning, studying, and is the fulfillment, once you acquire it, of all intellectual pursuits. You reach the highest of intellect. Why? You got self-knowledge. You know God. So therefore, it is the process of all right thinkers which bring true peace and happiness, enlightenment to all human beings who practice this philosophy. That's my mission. That's my lesson. Hope you understood it. Oh, we about one lesson away from closing the book out, y'all. Hope you enjoyed it. I got to go and closing. Right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I've never known my right thinkers who understand the meditation practice of Aset and the true cry out of Aset for themselves. Cry out, and if you're living right, God will hear you. I talk to him every day. I ain't got to cry.